The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hey, Peg.
Howdy. Alfred Richard, movie critic for WWL TV. Hey, Alfred.
Hi, Peggy.
And also with us, of course, Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and TheaterCriticism.com. Welcome, Alan. Hey. Later on in our program, we will look back at the Southern Railway Station, which once stood at Canal and Basin Streets. Poppy, the Southern Food and Beverage Museum, is planning a special dinner to honor a culinary VIP coming to town.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to meet her. Anybody who reads the New York Times is familiar with the name Melissa Clark. She has been a New York Times food writer for quite some time. She's the author of 45 books. Now, I don't look at that woman. How could she have written 45 books? But her newest book is called Dinner in One, which is a great idea because it means one pot, one sheet pan. This was the book that was lost at sea, along with Mason Herford's Turkey and the Wolf book. I know you remember that drama.
And that was quite the story, yeah.
So on Thursday, September the 22nd, and I'm sure this is going to sell out, so I'm promoting these things early, from 6 until 8:30 p.m. at the Southern Food and Beverage Museum, Melissa is going to be doing a cooking demo out of her book and talking, and Mason will also be there serving Turkey and the Wolf style treats inspired by Melissa's book. And that's $75 to the general public, $65 for members. It's going to be food, drinks, fun, and I'm sure it's going to be really informative as well. I can't wait to meet her. And then, I know, again, sounds like jumping the gun, but yesterday the tickets went on sale, online only, for the Redfish Grill Gingerbread House building. Now, you know, that happens every Christmas. This is an annual event. It sells out super quick. There's 3 dates: Sunday, December 4th and 18th, and Wednesday, December the 21st. There's 2 seatings on each of those dates. The tickets are $70. They're limited. You can only buy 12 of them, so that gives you an idea of what a happening this is for lots of people. So if you've always wanted to make that event, get online now and reserve your seats.
Poppy, like 3.5 months till Christmas?
I know, it sells. It's it's a fabulous event because there's a big buffet, Santa Claus, there's picture taking. It's really, I think out of all those Christmas activities, this is probably the most fun you can have with your children at Christmas.
It's a great idea, too, now tradition, right? Thank you, Poppy. And now over to Alfred. And Alfred, you know, you're covering, of course, the movie and television production scene,
right, yes.
Hollywood on the South. But you are actually, as folks who follow you know, you are actually in it from time to time. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about Alfred Richard, star extra.
Well, I don't know about that star portion, but I'll be in my trailer later to talk more about it. One of the things about it is that one of the great things that after leaving the New Orleans public schools, after 30 years of service there, I said, you know, I have to do something other than just watch movies. I decided, you know what, I think I can try to be in a few movies and series. And so I'm sending a couple of items and talking about a few of them already. Now, we've been talking about how Anne Rice and her projects have come back into production in this area. One of them is called, of course, Interview with the Vampire.
Can't wait.
This is one that's going to be on the AMC network. It opens on October 2nd. It's already being promoted heavily on AMC. And I had the opportunity to play a part in one of the opening episodes. I am a photographer in the wedding ceremony that takes place there. I can't give away too much of what's going on, but you can see I'm dressed up. No, not like the Colonel. I'm not going to be offering you any KFC. But as you can see, Interview with the Vampire is on AMC. See that segue there? And it's going to be debuting on October 2nd, of course, on AMC and AMC Plus. Now, after we get through that, there's another Anne Rice project, and that is being done. It has wrapped up its production and will be debuting later this fall or early 2023. It's Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches, and we've talked about this production with Harry Hamlin as being one of the stars in this film. Well, I got to be in a scene that was a very pivotal one. As you can see, I'm here for a big party.
Look at you.
A big party that they're going to take place. It's going to take place. I'm in my mask, and I think that's another picture of me in a tuxedo.
Is that your tuxedo or theirs?
That was theirs.
Wow.
That was their tuxedo. Wow. But I have to say, this scene is a two-part because it'll have me in a tuxedo, but they have me in another outfit that, let's just say, it is not for kids. It is, shall we say, a little bit racier, a lot racier. And it's being produced by AMC. It will debut this fall. But when you see me in the other outfit, you'll probably go,
wow.
Okay. Now we'll see why. And the third project, I've been in several. This was from the Advocate, New Orleans. It was filmed across the lake in Covington. This was the thing about Pam, and that starred Renee Zellweger. And if you can look right next to the young man, the newsman who's hounding Renee Zellweger's character, she's going to trial. That's me.
Here you are.
And of all things, I had to portray a news reporter for the fictional Channel 4 television.
Look at you.
So I wound up, or Channel 9, but I sent that message to Channel 4, the WWL,
Channel 4,
and
yeah.
Eric made a comment about, well, you got picked for another station, not ours, but and it figures that's about the case. But they had me as a news reporter. Boy, talk about the stretch. That was available on the Peacock. It was actually showing on NBC earlier this year. It's now available on the Peacock streaming service. So you can see how, especially how New Orleans and Covington, the North Shore, is made to look like another part of the Middle West of the United States.
All right, thank you very much. And over to Alan.
Well, I just wanted to remind everybody there's major fundraising going on this weekend at Le Petit Theater, as you can see behind me now. This weekend, there are two major events that are going on. First off, tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m., they kick off the Curtain Call Ball. And this is, of course, designed to be a social event with a purpose. There's going to be a live auction and a special short performance by Broadway star Emily Skinner, along with cocktails and food. Again, get there early, 6:30. And then, as we mentioned, Emily Skinner, the Saturday night, Emily Skinner will be in her first full performance at Le Petit. Emily, by the way, if you don't know, she was one of the original stars of Sideshow, along opposite Alice Ripley. They were both nominated for Tony Awards as Violet and Daisy, the Siamese twins, if you recall, from the movie Freaks. And again, the Tony Awards had been trying to decide what to do. They both nominated both of them for that role. And the original Broadway cast, others that she was involved in, The Full Monty, and also recently The Cher Show. So Emily Skinner, VIP tickets are, I believe, $65 if they're left, and other seats at $50 and $25. That's Emily Skinner, Broadway Her Way. You can meet and greet her, as I said, or just see her perform Broadway Her Way. Now, opening tomorrow night, Peggy, the final play for Tennessee Williams. It's called Closed for a Summer Hotel, a ghost play. And I'll be reviewing it next week, but this story is all about F. Scott Fitzgerald visiting the ghost of his late wife, Zelda. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Tennessee Williams Theater Company is going to be doing with this little scene work. It's again directed by Augustin Carrero. And also opening tomorrow night is the regional premiere of Kinky Boots at Rivertown Theaters for the Performing Arts. Keep in mind, they've had the national tour come by, but this is going to be the first time that an independent community theater has put on Kinky Boots. It's based, of course, on a small, independent British film. Kinky Boots won 6 Tony Awards, including a Best Leading Actor award for Billy Porter, the Best Score for Cyndi Lauper, Best Choreography for director Jerry Mitchell, and it won the Best Musical. So keep that in mind. Again, I'll be reviewing this one on next week's show, but based on their already brisk sales, I would expect this to be very much in high demand. I strongly urge all Broadway musical lovers who haven't seen this one to put it at the top of their list.
All right, thank you very much, Alan. And now, here is another installment of our occasional local look back, this time, the Southern Railway Station, a piece of the past. I'm Peggy Scott Laborde with a piece of the past. We are taking a look back at New Orleans history through some photos from my collection or the work of local photographers and also from archives. Among local buildings that I wish were still with us was the Southern Railway Terminal, also known as New Orleans Terminal. It was built in 1908 on the Basin Street median at the intersection of downtown Canal Street. Designed by famed architect Daniel Burnham, who also planned Washington, D.C.'s Union Station, this terminal served numerous railway lines, notably Southern. It was the terminus for the Southerner, which linked our city to the Northeast, with New York as its final destination. And there were waiting areas that were spacious and even included a restaurant. A distinctive semicircular window graced the station's facade. At one point, instead of newspapers, some newsboys handed out what were known of as blue books, a directory of local houses of ill repute in Storyville, which was located across the street from the station. The red light district was shut down by 1917. Sadly, the railway station was demolished in 1956. When all passenger service was relocated to the new Union passenger terminal nearby. The site was landscaped and dubbed the Garden of the Americas. A statue of Latin American hero Simón Bolívar was erected a few years later. So the next time you pass Basin Street at Canal, don't forget that this was the spot where locals and visitors crossed paths, all thanks to the locomotive. That's a piece of the past from WYES. Thanks for watching. And thanks to Hayden and George for their editorial skills in that piece. A PS to this vignette. We want to remind you that a building that was part of the Southern Railway system still stands on Basin Street at 501, next to the St. Louis Cemetery, number 1. What was once the baggage and freight office has been totally renovated with a facade that resembles the Southern Terminal. Now, a visitor center, offering many tour options. There are locally themed exhibits, including a collection of Southern Railway memorabilia collected by attorney Harvey Wagar. This is china used in a Southern dining car. And we have an actual uniform worn by a conductor. Upstairs at Basin Street Station is an elegant small hotel called the Brakeman. And there's also a room for receptions there too. Here's an exterior shot of the Basin Street view of the building, the original freight office. Amazing. The Basin Street Station is open every day. There's even a snack bar and free parking. Go to basinstreetstation.com and brakemanhotel.com for more information. By the way, cemetery tours are now available at the station. And back over to Poppy.
Oh, the things I learn on Steppin' Out every week. I'm so glad I'm here. Now, here's a reminder, something that's happening now. It's time for Fettuccine Frenzy at both Middendorfs. It's happening at both Man Shack, the original location, and in Slidell. And of course, everybody remembers Karen and Horst Pfeiffer's beautiful restaurant here in New Orleans, Bella Luna.
Yes.
And that is where everyone came to love that beautiful handmade paper-thin fettuccine that he's serving again every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the month of September. And you can choose between classic Alfredo and marinara, and you can add on shrimp, crab meat, or chicken, or you can order it as a side with their famous catfish. But if you love pasta, it doesn't get any better than that. And also, you can buy some to go and cook it at home. So don't miss Fettuccine Frenzy. And then some big news from the French Quarter. The Kingfish Kitchen and Cocktails has reopened. Finally, they've been closed since the start of the pandemic. They are located on the corner of Charters and Bienville. They're open now Thursday through Sunday from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. And you can count on having very reliable, good Louisiana food there. So if you're looking for some place like that in the French Quarter, their happy hour is Thursday and Friday from 2 until 5 p.m. when you can have $4 draft beers, $6 glasses of wine, $7 cocktails, and $9 small plates that include boudin poulettes, their wonderful duck and andouille gumbo, pork cracklins, and everybody's favorite crawfish bread.
Did you say cracklins? Woo!
Cracklins.
Sounds
Yum.
good to me, kiddo. Thank you. And now back over to Alfred.
Oh, Poppy, you know, my stomach is growling thanks to every time I am here and seeing all that wonderful food there at Kingfish. You know, the one thing about being in the movie business, aside from getting a chance to work with so many different people, and of course making sure that that bowl of M&Ms have green M&Ms only. That's what I want in my contract writer. No, it doesn't happen necessarily. But if you've always wanted the opportunity to get into a television series or into a movie, well, there is a group. It's called mycastingfile.com. It is a local group. And all you have to do is register. Go to that mycastingfile.com, register and fill out the information. And eventually you can be cast. They'll also ask you to put in information, your picture, all the information needed. And you may be called to be in a TV series or a movie production. I have been a part of my casting file for years since I retired from the school board since 2017, and I've worked in things like from The Highwaymen all the way to the most recent projects, as we've talked about, the Mayfair Witches and others. But you can also, you never know what's going to happen. There's also another group. It's called Central Casting Louisiana, and they are downtown on Poydras Street, 1450 Suite 2280, and you can see the website at centralcasting.com. Again, you can register, and these are for projects not only in New Orleans but Baton Rouge and across the entire southeastern United States. There are even projects in which we're filming in Atlanta or Florida, and they're contacting people in this area, so you never know. You may get that star put on your door one day, but if you reach My Casting File or Central Casting, it may be the case where you could be a star. I'm ready for my profile.
Thank you, Alfred. Good advice. That would be a lot of fun. And back over to Alan.
You ought to be in pictures.
Yes, doll.
Let me just say that, you know, we've had some people who have come into the New Orleans area recently, right around the time that we had COVID start to make itself known. The Crescent City Stage. It's a group that's a professional group of actors who are from Actors Equity, and they are now actually advancing to where they're going to be putting on some public performances. They were doing a lot of things online because of COVID. But again, tomorrow night, opening up their very first opportunity to present to the public is Pantomime. It's the first public performance for the Crescent City Stage Company. It's at Marquette Theater on the Loyola campus. You can see this play by Derek Walcott, who is from St. Lucia. He was a well-known playwright and poet and actually was a Nobel laureate. This particular piece deals with the white person, of course, played by Michael Newcomer, and his black servant, Michael Force, who kind of switch roles in sort of a reverse Robinson Crusoe. It's a two-hander, and I think that's very interesting. It sounds wonderful. It's directed by John Ray Proctor, the Tulane professor who recently directed Into the Woods for Summer Lyric. Again, go check that out if you can. They're going to be on all through the month, September 8th through the 25th at Marquette. Now, speaking of directors, Donald Jones Jr. will be the first of two guests on this Monday's NOLA Theater Talk Show. He's going to be talking about Kinky Boots. Of course, he's the director for Kinky Boots, his direction for that musical at Rivertown Theaters. But he's also a veteran of Broadway. He'll share his background as well. We want to talk to him. That's at 8 o'clock till 8:30. And then at 8:30, Michael Newcomer will be on from Crescent City Stage. And he'll be on to talk about his company and reflect on the first weekend of the show. And again, that's this Monday night coming up on September the 12th. The NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, the theatercriticism.com Facebook page, and my own YouTube channel. And I hope that you all got a chance to see the Sweet Potato Queen show we did last week with author Jill Connor Brown and singer-composer Melissa Manchester. It was just fabulous. I had a great time with them. Applications, by the way, went out, Peggy, this week for the Sherry Marina Memorial Grant intended to assist companies in presenting more diversified performances. This year's grant is $10,000.
Wow.
And again, next year, the name will shift back to reflect Carol Sutton's name. They're switching every year. It's either going to be a Carol Sutton Memorial Grant or the Sherry Marina Memorial Grant. The application should be sent by October 11th, and here's where you can send them to Brian Sands at 919 St. Philip Street in New Orleans at 70116. And speaking of Brian, there he is in all his glory. He just had kudos given to him for winning, a prize that he got for his performance as Felix Unger, and that's typecasting, tell me, and the production of The Odd Couple. So there he was. The North Shore, by the way, has some good theater this week as the jukebox musical Rock of Ages opens up, and then Gypsy, the wonderful Stephen Sondheim lyrics and Julie Stein musical, will be opening up at 30 by 90 Theater, again on the North Shore in Mandeville.
All right. Thank you so much, Alan. Now it's time for our Picks of the Week. Poppy.
Well, if you can't wait until September the 22nd to see Mason Herford with Melissa Clark at SoFab, you can go next Wednesday night, September 14th. Mason's going to be at the Garden District Bookshop signing his book, Turkey and the Wolf, Flavor Trippin' in New Orleans. And needless to say, there'll be delicious Turkey and the Wolf treats.
Thank you. Alfred.
My name is Bond. James Bond. Well, the classic series as the Britannia rolls on with a true Sean Connery classic, You Only Live Twice. You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to be at the Britannia Uptown on Sunday, September 11th, or Wednesday, September 14th. So come and enjoy.
All right, that sounds great. That's one of my favorite Bond movies, I will say. I love You Only Live Twice. It's not as appreciated as it should be.
it really should get more appreciation there.
Alan.
I love James Bond, and I love You Only Live Twice. Opening tomorrow, again, we've had all these openings coming up, on the West Bank is going to be the very first production put on by the Storytime Players, and this is going to be Jack and the Beanstalk, An Ascending Journey, written and directed by Uncle Wayne Daguerreaupauvant. Jennifer Shea heads up this brand new company with works designed to inspire children. It takes place on the second floor of St. Joseph's Church, and the various times are listed there, but check that out, and I will see you at the theater.
And of course, we're talking about the dear daughter of Al Shea, who we love so much on this show.
And Janet Shea, who we also love.
And of course, and Janet, and Janet, dear Janet. Thank you. And now my picks. The Arts Market New Orleans will take place Saturday at City Park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Saturday's Piety Market has a new home. It's the corner of Piety in Royal, 3300 to be exact. It's in the complex known as Beanlandia, created by the crew of Red Beans. The market is open from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Lots of local vendors included Emiliana, and Emiliana is very beloved in there. There she is. Look at all the great stuff. Vintage objects, food, music, art. Check out that Piety Market Facebook page and right there, the Piety Market. Finally, if you are looking for a staycation spot, consider the charming Canal Street Inn, right on the streetcar line. This beautifully restored 1912 house is a great getaway, and the inn provides breakfast too. It's also a setting for weddings, and you can hop on the streetcar to go downtown, or you can walk a block to Mandina's to go to Canal Street Inn right there. And it's great for weddings, by the way. It's really, really cool. Look at this, right by the streetcar. So that's canalstreetinn.com for more information. And they now are on the select registry of Distinguished Inns of North America. So, and congratulations to the Canal Street Inn. It's a beautiful place. Monica is the owner, and she just has done a great job. She totally renovated the space. Lots of stained glass, and each room has its own personality, and just a whole lot of fun. Very beautifully done. By the way, y'all, next week we have got Deacon John, and he's going to sing for us and play, and he's going to be at the WYES Gala. And it's later this month, and we'll tell you all about that, so I'm looking forward to. But before we go, I'm going to put you on the spot, Alfred.
All right.
So in terms of being an extra, what's been one of your favorite experiences, real quick?
Well, my favorite experiences has been with Mayfair Witches. Wonderful staff there, and the crew has been great. And all I can say is you get to meet a lot of interesting people, and that's the most important thing, although it is sometimes a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yes, I'm sure it is. And the other little job that you have these days is you are front of the house for Commanders, aren't you?
Yes, that's right.
Commanders
that's right.
Palace, that is all right. Well, thank you all so very much, and thank you for watching. Good night.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org.